everybody, I am Teacher Yazz from the Palo Alto Junior Museum and Zoo, and I'm out on the coast today with my family, and we're doing a little tide pooling. And we chose to come today because we're in the period of the king tides. High tides and low tides, the most extremes, happen when there's a new moon or a full moon, because of the way the moon and the earth and the sun are lining up and their gravity's pulling on our ocean water. Now, we get our king tides, the biggest high tides, in the winter time, and that's because the earth is actually a little bit closer to the sun in its orbit during the winter, so we get even a little extra sun gravity pulling on our ocean water. Usually, when we think about the high tides, the king tides, we think about how high up the water can come. We get flooding events and things like that. But the other thing that's fantastic about the king tides is they also pull the water farther out during the low tides. So it's a great time to come visit the coast and see parts that are usually covered up by water. Okay, we can see parts of the landscape that are usually covered up by water. We're having a negative tide right now, and so many of the rocks that would usually be covered up and the creatures that live there are now visible for us to come look at. You got to be safe though. Pay attention to what you're doing while you're out here. So here we have a beautiful sea anemone. It's in a nice tide pool, so it's covered up with water right now, so it's pretty happy. And you can see it's surrounded by some coral and algae, and there's some other seaweeds and things around it. So it's opened up. It looks like a flower, but really it's an animal. And in the center of it, we're seeing its mouth where it eats. So if you're an animal, you need a mouth. You need to be able to eat. And because it's covered by water, it has its tentacles out in the water to maybe try and catch things that might float by. Although right now, because it's low tide, there's not a lot of water. But nearby it is a friend, a little neighbor anemone right here that's out of the water. And because it's out of the water, its tentacles are all tucked in. And sometimes when they're tucked all the way in, they just look like squishy donuts. And they do that to protect themselves when the tide water has pulled away from them and they're not covered, so that they don't dry out. Julian, what do you want to show us?
Here's a six-armed star.
Nice. Very nice.
And then there's the second one right here.
Just holding on to those rocks. We have one of our more common sea stars visible now. This is an ochre star. There is the ochre star. So this one is a very dark purple color with the white speckles on it that we always see. They are a really important predator in the rocky shore habitat. And we used to see them all the time, but unfortunately a few years ago there was a disease that swept through the population, and a lot of the stars, sea stars, died off, and that really had effects on the whole habitat because we were missing that important predator. So we're glad to be seeing ochre stars making a comeback along the coast, and we hope that they continue to do well. In addition, in the same beautiful spot, there is another kind of star. This one right here, that orange star down there, is called a bat star. And it's a little more delicate than the ochre star, and they definitely live deeper along the coast. So you really have to be at a wonderful low tide to get a chance to see these. So nice to see them. They are also a predator. So I know they look so serene, the sea stars, but they're actually hunters out here. So we've been here long enough that now the tide is starting to come back in. It's starting to cover up those deepest rocks, and it'll keep flowing back in over the next several hours. So we're starting to make our way back to our car to be safe.